once again another Thursday. It seems like these Thursdays just come around the corner so fast, man. But nevertheless, it just feels good to be back in the building with my guy. Tim Russell is in the building. Goodlife, Ohio, man. Author, community worker, mental wellness advocate, all these things, man. I don't even want to besmirch any of his actual official accolades. So, without further ado, my man Tim Russ is in the building.
Yo, what's going on?
What's going on? Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I feel a lot better. In life. Yeah, been slowing down a lot. You know what I mean? Just being in less places, having less conversations that don't really fit in what I'm trying to do. You know what I mean? Just really working on my mental lately.
And just to start out the conversation, not really to go into topics yet, but as you are waking up this morning, to any of the audience, first of all, I'd like to ask you if you enjoy any of this content that me and my guy provide, please share this on your page. Please tag someone, tell them to come in, join in the discussion. There's two ways, of course, you can join in the discussion. If you would like to be a part or a part of our panel, we can send you the link to the panel. Or if you just want to be on the comments, then of course you can just type in what your question or your response is to anything that's what we're talking about, and we'll go ahead and address those questions and comments. But other than that, I mean, just like I said, just to start on the topic, man, one of the biggest misconceptions that I really want to put on the table and debunk is that although everybody is talking about mental health, mental wellness, we're using things like grace, trigger, trauma, healing. These are all a lot of these clickbait flash words. You know what I'm saying? These are keywords that people are tapping into and starting to utilize. We started to use words in the past 3 years like narcissism and things of that nature. And I promise you, about 10 years ago, no one was using these type of words. But when we talk about mental wellness and mental health and wellness, please don't think that you have to be well every day.
Right.
You're allowed to have bad days. That doesn't mean that you're off the wagon, and it doesn't mean anything is wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you if 7 days a week, and 5 days out of the 7 that you're happy, 2 of those days that you're not so happy, melancholy, or anything, that's okay. It is really okay. Mental health and mental wellness and these advocates in this conversation about healing is that you need to practice, or you need to be the picture of a healed person every day. And that is so far from the truth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I want people to really understand that mental health doesn't mean that you're going to be smiling every day. Mental health doesn't mean that you're going to have your shit together every day. And I think that's where people start to beat themselves up. You feel what I'm saying, Tim?
100%. And I agree with everything you said. You know what I mean? Because there is no image of a healed person. Like, none of us will ever be to that point. And I don't think that point's the destination. You know what I mean? A lot of times we've been sold our emotions over propaganda, over media, over time. And we haven't really, actually addressed what these emotions are. You know what I mean?
Right.
Happiness is not a smile. Like, happiness is being aware. Happiness is knowing how you're feeling. Happiness is knowing what's going on with you.
Right.
So I think we're all on a race nowadays to be diagnosed so people can use it as an excuse. They start using bipolar as an excuse. They start using narcissist as an excuse. You know what I mean? And these things are just to help identify yourself. So when you're out in public, you know what I mean? You riding the train and you just can't stop cussing at people that's going by. You have no idea what's going on. You know what I mean? So the diagnosis of Tourette's is just for other people to be comfortable and understand, look, I can't help this. I might throw off an F-bomb every 20 minutes. You know what I mean? But I still, as a human being, get to live my life. I still get to ride the train and go to the store like everybody else. I'm not going to live isolated because I have this alteration. I don't even consider it a defect. You're just altered. You're just a little different than everybody else. But I think the point of these diagnoses is to make everyone feel comfortable, and like we do, we've been using them against each other as weapons, and it's becoming toxic.
But okay, so let's go back to being bipolar. So it is more acceptable for someone to have outbursts when it comes to Tourette's or some sort of special needs, autism.
Yeah.
Okay? So let's talk about that for 1 second.
Yeah.
Well, if somebody is on the bus and says, and he has an outburst and he says, ah, starts going crazy, and somebody was to tell everybody in the bus, hey, relax, he has autism, he would get a pass. If somebody was doing a loud outburst, it was like, fuck your mother. Sorry for, the morning show people if I'm saying these words early. So somebody says, don't be alarmed, everybody. This person has Tourette's, so they have a card or something that he would get a pass. I wouldn't say the same for bipolar. We have really desensitized what bipolar is. And like you said, some people have overused it. It's a lot in rap, so now it's acceptable to say I'm bipolar. It's acceptable to say that I'm manic in a lot of areas, but when you really use the clinical terms, that is still a mental illness. You know what I'm saying? That right. Some people, like you said, use as an excuse, but some people, they really are bipolar and they can't control their mood swings. So how is it that we get society to understand and accept when somebody is going through that transition of being bipolar, that is also acceptable, the same as Tourette's or autism?
Bipolar is a little more tricky. Autism's kind of in the same field just because both of them rely on a spectrum. Everybody that's bipolar aren't experiencing the same things. You know what I mean? And I think it's because there's a split. It's because a lot of these quote unquote mental illnesses have times where they're actually helping your life. Like, because bipolar means your emotions are constantly changing. So you can experience a point of complete, like, euphoric, you know what I mean? Like, you feel good. You feel your best. You up. And no one's complaining then. So I think as people who don't have these things going on in society are just like, okay, you can't use this to your advantage and then act like it's a handicap. Like, which is it? You know what I mean? And it's why I don't consider a lot of mental health handicaps. I think society looks at it like that. But have we actually asked the people with these diseases? You know what I mean? Because I've helped in Special Olympics. Like, those are some of the happiest kids and adults I've seen in my life. So it's hard for me to think that they're struggling and people aren't just projecting what they feel their struggles are like onto them. A lot of people who are handicapped and have mental illness don't want you to identify it because they want to fit into society. To them, they're just, again, this is just an alteration. But a lot of what I feel like we do as people is we're trying to heal people before we even really know what's wrong with them. You know what I mean?
So
and that can be problematic.
So let's go back. Good morning, Trinae. I appreciate you sharing. I already know you share it on the page and everything.
Good morning.
Let's go back to that. Thank you, Lorenzo. I appreciate you. Thank you. Anybody's on the check-in. Adrian, thank you. Thank you so much. So let's break down when you are diagnosed and when you use it as manipulation. Let's go, even older people use dementia. I went through this week that somebody said that I excuse the old person. I excuse the elder. I don't want to say old person. That sounds offensive. I want to say, you see, I'm being politically correct. Politically correct. So this senior went off on the whole family. And I said, don't they have dementia? And the person in response says, they know what the hell they were saying. They know what the hell. So they have been clinically diagnosed with dementia, but I'm probably answering my own question, but I want to hear your words.
Yeah.
When is it manipulative? When you are clinically diagnosed with a mental illness, when is it manipulative?
I would say more times than not, it's going to be manipulative. It's no different than when a child starts to learn new things and how they can make adults run around, and they're going to manipulate it. Again, we're human. You know what I mean? A lot of us have this unrealistic version of everyone should be holy and righteous. Everyone's not trying to do that. Some people just trying to have fun. Some people's trying to kick it. Some people like lying and getting things for lying. You know what I mean? Like, everyone doesn't want to be our best self. Some people like the hand they were dealt and they cool with it. So it's all manipulation. But to me, this is the beauty of a relationship, because the people involved with them have a choice whether you want to be involved with them or not. I feel like, too, I don't like when the families do that. When you know this person's been manipulating y'all, you know they're faking, but y'all keep being there, and you know what I mean? Keep being by their side, and you keep being empathetic for them, but then you want to complain about what they do. Like, no, you got it two ways, too. Either deal with them and accept this is who they are, or leave them alone. But we don't get to choose to deal with people for all the time and then try to condemn them for who they are. Like, that's not real.
And I think people understand their power. I don't want to sound like a but grandma understands her power. She understands, you know, I'm probably going to get this manipulation off. You probably know that I'm manipulating you. But if you call me on it, cancel Thanksgiving dinner. Cancel, you know what I'm saying, Sunday dinner, or when you want me to make that sweet potato pie. And this is what I really want to talk about is what can we really understand and be empathetic about, and what can we just say, man, that's cat. That's straight cat, and dismiss it.
Nothing when it comes to the young or the elderly. You know what I mean? Nothing. That's just how life is set up. And it's because they've already put up with our shit. So a lot of old people are just petty. A lot of elderly are just petty. They remember everything y'all did throughout the years. That's why they forgot everything else. They remembered all that bullshit y'all was doing, who you was marrying, who you was having kids with, how you cussed me out on the phone that time because I wouldn't give you $20. They remember all of it. You know what I mean? But it's always on us. I always put the accountability on myself. We as a world got to stop being so sensitive. The world is not this romantic, beautiful place that we want to make it be. When a baby's crying to get milk, that's manipulation. But we go along with it because it's a part of the natural process. You know what I mean? Everything a baby does is manipulation. And it's because they don't know any other way. So as they grow up and they keep doing the same shit, maybe humans we like deception. You know what I mean? We don't like getting in trouble. We don't like being held accountable. So we like being mischievous. So somebody's been doing that for 80, 90 years. You can't knock them. You just got to get out their way. I let the elderly be the elderly. I don't complain about them much. And they got a lot of baggage. But I let them do their thing, man. They earned it.
Listen, because, I mean, honestly, people don't realize that the elderly still enjoy sex.
Yeah.
We don't want to picture grandma doing with Mr. John. Picture that in our mind.
Because the muffler hanging and she need that muffler fixed today. He the only one with same day service today. I got bingo at 6. Mr. John, you in? You in.
Yo, you are out of pocket today.
But who would be mad? You know, if you found that out, who would be mad? A lot of times we're just sensitive because we don't have a lot of information.
No, seriously. Because grandma goes to church, grandma helps out, you know, all the grandkids and stuff like that. Nobody wants to picture their grandma stroking. Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah, I don't think people want to see think about their parents doing it, let alone their grandmother. That'd be rough. But to me, I each his own, man. Each his own. It's funny that you say this, but there's not many things you can even get them as gifts. I remember I was watching a movie and Talladega Nights, and one of the guys was like, my nana's about to be 77. What do you think I should get her? He's like, a coffin. And then everybody laughing and declared, he's like, no, seriously. He's like, get her a guy to come over and have sex with her. He's like, there's not many things they want. Like, you gotta go out of the way to get them what they want. And I love that kind of stuff. I like treating people as people, man. Old people, we kind of put them on the back burner as they age. You know, elderly, like, we stop fucking with them, we stop calling them. I don't like that.
Ooh. So let's, man, we about to turn the corner here then.
Mm-hmm.
So does society provoke manipulation?
Absolutely.
Break it
Absolutely.
down.
I think society promotes manipulation is because in our journey to be different, we have to realize we have more similarities than differences. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
this whole new, like the whole game we live in now, get yours, get the money, step on the competition's neck. You know what I mean? Like it's built around manipulation. It's built around either you get yours or you sabotage everybody else's. Either they're going to give it to you or you're going to convince them to give it to you. And it's like, nah, like a lot of times we don't need all the things that we think we need. And since we're trying to gather so much, some of it has to come through chaos. You know, as a kid, I still kind of believe it today. I don't think there's a lot of jobs where people honestly earn $2 million a year. That's a lot of money. I can't think of many jobs, and definitely athletes shouldn't be making that money. So to me, when you get to that level of income, you're fucking somebody over. There's no way around it. I don't believe you're not fucking somebody over. You're making sure someone doesn't get their money so you can get yours. Like it's all manipulation, but we stop caring because we benefit from it now. See, at first it was other ethnicities benefit from manipulating us, our culture, our music, our food. You know what I mean? But now we're learning from them and we're doing it to each other. Like it's the crabs in the barrel. You know what I mean? We're just trying to get other people to work with us so they can help propel us to where we're trying to go. And I think that's why a lot of our major groups, our major teams have fell apart. It was all a scheme. You know what I mean? It wasn't real chemistry.
Man, okay. So I'll take you back to January 2014. So
Uh-huh.
I'm at Club Republic downtown, and you know what I'm saying. I'm in the VIP section, and it's going crazy. It's lit. You know what I'm saying. I got my cigar, I got my bottles, and I'm going nuts. So the guy EJ, he hits my brother and says, "Man, I thought Delanye was in church." And my brother said, "Oh no, he a nigga now." And then
Church is
somebody
out.
else said, "Delanye been a nigga. He just only gave y'all one side of him. I know the real him. He been a nigga all
Yeah.
his life." You know what I'm saying? So I'm giving you three perspectives of what three people thought of me. You got the person that thought, "Damn, Delanye is a church dude. He there wilding out, cussing and everything." And then my brother, who has the perception like, well, he was a church boy. Now he a nigga now. But then there's this perception of my friend who knows me and like, Delanye been a nigga. Y'all need to catch up. So did I manipulate everybody?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think we do all the time. You know what I mean? And that's why I believe in duality. That's why I don't believe words hold negative or positive charge. A word is just a word. It depends on the context and intention of how you're using it. I manipulate jobs to get the job. We manipulate a lot of relationships in the beginning to get them to like us or get them to see certain parts of us. That's manipulation. You know what I mean? The only way that you could really be for them is if you came and sat down at the table and both of y'all gave each other a list of all y'all's bullshit. But even if you hide that shit for a day, for a week, and try to get them more comfortable until they get sprung on it, all of that's manipulation. All of that's literally by definition what manipulation is. But then you see there's a spiritual side of manipulation. You can take your negative thoughts and turn them into positive thoughts. You can take your unfavorable situation and see the silver lining in it and realize there's collateral beauty even in this damage. You can take somebody that you lost or somebody that got hurt and you can spin that now to helping people. You know what I mean? So it depends on our intent in everything in this world. We need context. You know what I mean? Nothing's good or bad. It depends on how you're using it. I think that's why so many people can live their life doing things and then find that one person that like, hey, that's not right. You know what I mean? Like, because to them it's not. But if it's been fine with you, if you can lay your head down and not, why not?
Right. So therefore, what's the difference between manipulation for survival and just downright lying? You know, because we put liars in a very negative category.
Yeah.
And as you have talked about manipulation, there is necessary manipulation for
Right.
survival. But
Right.
some people would say, well, being a liar is a liar. And that's what cracks me up about a lot of people when they talk about keeping it real or I'm me all day, 24/7. I'd be like, man, that's cat, bro. Because I see how you don't go home to your. I've seen thugs go home to their mom, act like they ain't been out in the street thugging or pimping.
Exactly.
Or I've seen moms know their sons is out here selling drugs. Be like, I didn't know he was selling drugs. How the hell do you think that he was reporting on?
You full of shit. But you hit the nail on the head. You hit the nail on the head because I see one of the comments say, "Can manipulation be positive?" And I think you just described a time when it was positive. You know what I mean? Especially when you think about the crack era. I think about it all the time. You know, Cam got a few songs, Cameron, where he talks about it. Like, I used to play ball. Playing ball wasn't working out. It's just me and my grandmother. So I had to start picking up that shit to pay the bills. She needed a new washer. She used to have to walk to the laundromat. She used to want to go to bingo. She ain't had no coins. So she knew what I was doing, but he was telling her, like, nah, grandma, I got a job. To me, that's positive manipulation. Like, you're telling this lie to help someone because you know the truth might hurt her even more than if she found out what you know what I mean? Like, what can happen in the streets? Just the fact that she wants you on the straight and narrow. But as a man, you feel you got to do what you need to do. You know what I mean? So sometimes that comes to lying, cheating, and stealing, especially in the streets. It depends on your environment.
But that's what, you know, when we watch the documentaries of Big Meech.
Yeah.
And other those, Big Meech was a good kid. He was a really, people don't really understand. Like, they want to look at him as a monster, but Big Meech was a good kid, man. Rick Ross was a good kid, man. They were good kids that were just so fucked up. Deshaun, I don't think it's called manifestation. I don't think we can use that. I don't know. Maybe Tim could agree, disagree. I don't think we can say manifestation. I say that we do. Manifestation, I look at in its positive terms, and I'm going to get back to Meech and Rick Ross in a minute. But when I say manifestation, I literally base it off what I was taught. I think it, I form out a plan, I put in the work. Eventually, the universe works with all of this, and therefore it manifests itself. So going back to tie this all together before Tim takes over is, if I start out wanting to play tennis, such as a Rick Ross wanted to be Arthur Ashe. Meech just wanted to make sure his mother wasn't hurting. But these are my only options right now. This is my only option to make what I need happen, no matter what I have to do. That's the side of manipulation and manifestation. Manifestation, I feel like you're going to see this thing through. The same way that I'm doing Radio 270. I'm not cutting any corners. I'm not seeking illicit funds from anybody. I'm doing it slow, but I feel like I'm manifesting this every day. Now, I could easily go get turned on somewhere and flip this money and make it quick. That's where the manipulation comes in to me. Am I wrong or right?
I mean, you're not wrong, but there's two sides of it. And again, we got to remember, words are dual. It's duality. They're not positive. They're not negative. That's any words you can think of. I can tell you how prayer can be negative. I can tell you how manifesting can be negative. So manifesting is attracting. And essentially you attract it because this is the only thing you're thinking about. So for a kid who, you know what I mean, is about to go kick in the door and rob a house, they're constantly worried the owner's home. They're constantly worried the owner has a gun. They're constantly worried the owner might shoot and kill them. You're manifesting that outcome by focusing on it, by thinking about it. That's going to be along the lines that, you know, to come in relationships. When you keep wondering if they're cheating on you, if they're being unfaithful, you're manifesting these outcomes. It's not saying they're going to go cheat on you. You might get in the next relationship with a cheater. It's saying if you keep asking for these things, they're going to end up in your life. And I always look at it as the Rumpelstiltskin effect. You're asking for something, but you don't know how you're going to receive it. It's the same with prayer. Just because you ask for something don't mean you're going to get it how you view it. You're going to get it how it can affect your life. So through prayer, they say, let's say you're asking for a new job. You're not going to get an application. You're going to get the opportunity to prove to yourself, to grow yourself, to be able to handle that job. But you got to go seek the job. The universe is just going to give you chances to be better, to prepare for the occasion. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't really give you what you want. You have to go get what you want. So through the manipulation, absolutely, it's manifesting. You're trying to manifest a desired outcome through manipulation. So we do it every single day. Think about a personal trainer. Think about a therapist. Think about a doctor. All of that's manipulation. They're telling you parts of the truth to get you to be comfortable with the desired outcome. That's manipulation on any level. If someone can't give you all the facts, they're manipulating. If they tell you half the story, they're manipulating you. If they come to you really upset and distraught, but they really have no emotions towards what's happening, they're manipulating you. They're trying to get you to see something that's not actually there. You know what I mean? So again, we can use that in multiple. We manipulate our kids. People giving their kid melatonin, that's manipulation. They're not naturally falling asleep. You're not giving them a proper bedtime and a routine to do this. You're trying to cut corners through the middle to get to the desired outcome. So you're going to get there and not like it. Now they're addicted to melatonin. See, that's a manifestation. You constantly didn't want to deal with your problem, so it dealt with itself. And we got to remember, we're not the only ones just like we're not the only ones praying for us. We're not the only ones manifesting for us. The government manifested your life by putting you in the neighborhood, putting you in the ghetto. This school is manifesting the outcome by the teachers they give you, by the curriculum. So they're trying to dictate where you end up and how your life goes. So when we use magic, it's reverse manipulation. I'm growing up in the hood and growing up to be successful. I'm still going to school and may not graduate, but still grow up with the knowledge and the education. I'm growing up in a home without both parents, but now I'm an excellent father and I only attract excellent mothers. So you reverse the cycle they were trying to put you in. A lot of people are still stuck. That's what we mean when we say the programming. They're still stuck in that cycle someone set them in a long time ago, and they never got the insight to break out of it. They never realized, oh shit, I could just step out. They're waiting for that person to take them out because that manipulation corrupted their mind. It has them thinking now they have no power. That's the point of it. When a man is standing over top of you and yelling at you to get you to cower, that's manipulation. Because a lot of them men ain't ready to take it to the next level. So they have to convince you that they are, which is manipulation. You know what I mean? We do it all the time. It's human nature. And we do it as an act of survival. I think that's why it's not really demonized all the time. But the world's so sensitive, we're taking a lot of shit everyone does and we're trying to condemn a small group of people for it. You know what I mean? And I think we just got to start looking at ourselves more truthfully. Like, we're not these holy good creatures that we pretend to be. Like, we're fucked up creatures. You know what I mean? And the beauty is we don't have to stay like that. We can change our lives. But man, a lot of our conversation, a lot of what we do is manipulation. And it's emotional manipulation today. People playing with your feelings.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that, okay, so I was in sales for a long time. You know what I'm saying? And I really would say the lines were blurred between manipulation and persuasion, because to persuade somebody is, again, to point out some things that you didn't think that you needed. So, you know, persuading you, even though you probably have these funds set up for something else, I have to persuade you that you need a debit card. I have to persuade you need a credit card. I have to persuade you that you're going to do the right thing. Now, in my mind, I don't give a fuck. I don't care what you do with this credit card.
Right.
I sell. I get the $50 for the sale. Once you get the card, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really care about you per se. You know what I'm saying? Now, I care enough about you to listen to you, to hear you out. I'm not even going to lie, Tim. When those clients were in my chair and I did the whole financial analysis, there was a part of me that did care about helping them, right? Yeah. But once I helped them, I no longer care.
Yeah.
Ain't that, is that weird or no?
No, it's human. We're detached from the we're detaching from a lot of things emotionally. We're becoming robots to practicality. We're going just straight off logic. And that's why men and women need each other, because we're logic driven. They're emotion driven. We both need those aspects.
Oh, okay. Let me throw you one more curve then.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, as a banker on a day-to-day, I feel like I was doing a service and positivity. Now, the bank being the pimp, this is what I brought. This is what they didn't like when I brought this to the sales floor. I said, don't y'all know that we're getting pimped? Like, because if we was just to do a service, no matter if we saw 2 people or 10 people during the day, we've done a service and we've helped somebody. But when it comes to Big Dollar Bill, I won't say his real name, but when it comes to Big Dollar Bill, he said, if you can do 5, you can do 10. If you can do 10, you can do 20. And I want my or now I'm not interested in helping anyone. I have to meet Dollar Bill's quota. I could have been a normal banker, but I was corrupted by the system to say, if I can do 5, I can do 10. If I can do 10, I can do 20. Now I gotta go get it. And now by any means necessary to keep my job and to keep me on top and to keep me competitive, I don't care if you need this or not. You're going to get this credit card by the time you get out of my chair. So I think a lot of the society's pressures turn people manipulative as well.
100%. And this is why we talked about this like on the earlier shows about conforming. This is why I don't condemn people who conform. We all conform. Your growth, your healing, your value that you see in yourself is how long you participate in that. We've all been down those roads. I had the same experience in the insurance game. And I love that there was an aspect of what I do and that was helping people. But as soon as I learned I'm hurting more people than I help, I took myself out of it. I retired. I stopped doing it. I could have kept doing it because the money was good. You dig what I'm saying? But to me, I had to give myself grace. I had to realize I only went into this opportunity because I didn't know everything about it. I was learning. But now that I know, I got to make a choice. Either I'm okay with poisoning my people, or I can't be a part of nothing like this.
Man, now we talking. Now we're really getting into this conversation. Jump in here if you guys want to jump in. Adrian said that's manipulation. That's manipulating those customers to act in the company's best interest.
Yeah.
But Adrian, if I didn't, my job was in jeopardy. I had to meet these quotas. I had to, and honestly, the quotas were raised every time we raised the bar. So it was this cheese that we was never going to catch. Even though and honestly, the more money I made, the more money I spent. I don't know how the hell that happened. You know what I'm saying? But that was the government, and that was my society manipulating me, because the more that I had, more commercials said, okay, you can afford this now. Now you can afford this now. To where, okay, let me give you a prime example.
Yeah.
We got 5 viewers right now, but we're really talking about things that help people, right? Just imagine once we start going into that upper echelon of media, where we now, Tim, have to start caring about views. Now we have to start caring about the competition. Now we have to start caring about how we got our $1 million company afloat, and we have to keep these viewers to keep our company afloat. So now we're not talking to these 5 viewers with the care and love in our heart that we have once we become millionaires, because we're not concerned about how you perceive the good messages that we're trying to convey. We're worried about keeping our company afloat. So this is why when you talk about people selling out, they don't start out with the intention to sell out. It's
Absolutely
just that
not.
at no level, they have to maintain everything that they obtain.
They put you in an impossible situation. They tell you the customer is king, the customer is always right, and then they make you choose between yourself and the customer, which is an impossible choice. I'm not going to put anybody before me, but I also came to do my job. So now I'm stuck in this limbo. You know what I mean? You're stuck in this paradox.
You know what? I'm going to take that on the chin, Adrian. I'm going to take that. But I'm going to give you some feedback on that. She said you decided to work there.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I was reading it.
No one makes us apply specific jobs. Some way we feel when a fast food employee gets smart with it. Okay. Let's go back to what Tim was saying, though. Okay. In life, we have choices. So back when I was in banking, I wanted to be a rapper. But did I live in New York? Did I live in LA? Did I live in any of these places that could have given me an opportunity to rap? No. So therefore, I had 2 children that needed formula, food, Pampers, and things of that nature. So guess what? I had to get a job. Banking wasn't the ideal job, but it beat working at the post office for over a year. Back. and constantly hurting physically every day from lifting these boxes. So I said, okay, I got a sit down job. So it catered to me and soothed my ego in a couple of ways. Hey, I'm smart enough to be a banker. Hey, I got a job that can help my people. And hey, it's hustling to me. So it feels like some street shit to me because I'm constantly going to work and hustling and getting money for my family. So I felt good, but it wasn't me. Like Tim said, society will have you doing a lot of shit that you don't normally want to do, but because they have manipulated you to thinking everything's so easy. So yes, I decided to work there, but it was an alternative that I had to make because I damn sure wasn't going to sell crack. I damn sure wasn't going to put myself in a position to be away from my kids the way my father was away from me. So banking was the best option. It wasn't a part of who I wanted to be, but I had to do what I had to do. So hopefully that answers your question, Adrian.
Yeah, and I see what both of y'all are saying on both sides. You know what I mean? Because there is a lot of situations that pertain to that other side. I think that's how a lot of us culturally got in trouble, and where we was just gung-ho blaming the white man. But a lot of people in the workforce are getting their jobs because of the debt they have. A lot of people are getting their jobs because that mortgage they signed. A lot of people are getting jobs because they want to go out every weekend and they want to kick it. You know what I mean? And to me, a high-profile paying business, they're paying you to put up with bullshit. They're not paying you because they like you. They're not paying you because this job makes $500,000 a year. They're paying you because you're going to have to sell your soul. You're going to do some unfavorable things. They might call you black or nigga or person of color. So you're going to have to put up with that for that money. Again, manipulation. So now we have the businesses manipulating us, making us feel like we got to have the new shoes. We got to have a purse. We got to have a shirt. And all of these people work together. It was how school and prisons was working together. They're prepping us to go to prison. These jobs were prepping us to be in debt. College was prepping us to be in debt. So then we would have to go get these jobs. And we would have to work these jobs no matter what they put us through. You know what I mean? So I think both of y'all are describing two different types of people. You know what I mean? But it's both true. There's both situations happen every day. And a lot of people never leave their job because they just don't have that strength and that oomph to leave. You know what I mean? That's why I had to humble myself, like, because me and you went through similar paths, especially with banking. And I had to realize, even as great as I think I am, I'm not perfect. So if there is this really good job that's going to pay me $1 million a year, I probably shouldn't take it. Because if I get too comfortable in that million, I'm not going to leave. I'm just going to start changing my preferences and character to get to the bag. How many times we see black people do that? They wake up, got to get the bag, do anything to get the bag. All of that's manipulation. You're letting society make you think there's a life better for you on the other side. Man, your life is best where you at. You know, these are things that we learned. This is the healing journey. This is what I mean when I say give yourself grace. You know what I mean? We've been told a lot of stuff from a lot of different places. And all of us are still trying to sort it out. But when I say probably 98% of the world is trying to manipulate us. They're trying to sell you something. They're trying to get you to think something, believe something. They need your work so they can go on vacation with their family. They need your brain so they don't have to use theirs. So what we always got to do is stop and ask ourselves, does this feel right within my soul? You know what I mean? Because we've all conformed. We've all conformed.
The reason why I'm glad you said that is because I don't want people to think that growth is wrong. I don't want to paint that narrative that growth is wrong. If you are in a one-room shack and you have a family, you probably need to get the hell up out of there. If you're in a bad neighborhood where they're shooting every night and you got children, you probably want to get the hell out of there. You know what I'm saying? So growth is not bad. It's just basically, how can I be my truest form to myself? Like you said, I'm in the middle right now in my life to where I'm happy to do this every single day. Yeah. I not pay me oodles of dollars the same way investment banking did, but I get to do this every single day. I get to do, you know what I'm saying, to be at these bars and entertain every day. I get to be in media. This is what I wanted to do. Now, iHeart and Radio One is not knocking at my door and saying, hey, Lane, you know what I'm saying, we want to give you $1 million. But until that day comes, like you said, I am grateful. And I think that's where people, I wouldn't say be content, just be grateful and look around and see all the benefits instead of focusing on the negative, which is what Tim's initial topic was, is that the initial topic is we get fed so much shit every single day that it programs us that we're not doing good. And I think both of our topics are gelling together now We
Yeah.
get we get so much weight on us. We get this social media that we scroll and see people going on these trips. We scroll and see people going and getting these new cars and buying these new houses and stuff like that. And we don't give ourselves enough grace and says, you're still going through the process of wherever
Yeah.
you're trying to get to. And this is what I want more people, myself included, to know that you're doing fine. You're really doing okay. Could you do a little bit more every day? Of course you could.
Yeah.
Constantly beat yourself up to think that you don't have enough. To constantly beat yourself up to feel like you should be further along in life. I think this is where we're having the problem with people's mental health.
Yeah, and it's because we have to dissociate other people with ourselves. You know what I mean? I heard a famous quote one time, and they said, "Don't let a bad day trick you into thinking you have a bad life." So what's happening with us is we're trying to self-manipulate, and it's impossible. It does not exist. You can only manipulate other people, and that's because they don't have enough information. You can't lie to yourself. Something I tell people all the time: you're not slicker than the universe. You cannot manipulate yourself. You cannot work out, skip working out for half a year and then think you're supposed to have all these muscles, or only see yourself as a version of a person that did the work. Because a part of you knows the truth. You can't lie to yourself. So you got a lot of people lying to themselves. That's one thing I chose to never do. You know what I mean? When I was at Chase, when I was miserable with my job, I told myself every single day, this is temporary. You got to do this now for the time you got to do it. Once you're gone, you're gone. When I start getting to my last days in Chase before I left, I had to start being brutally honest with myself. Every morning I woke up, I said, you know what? I could come in here and do this if they gave me $1 million a year. Y'all give me $1 million a year, I'll come in here, I'll clock out. I won't be no problems. I help Betty with her work and then clock out and go home. I wouldn't complain, not once, not never, not ever. But then I had to be more honest with myself. They're never going to give you that money, ever.
Right.
So you got a choice. That's what we all have. That's the beauty of life. That's the beauty of being present. You have a choice. You can do something different. So I decided to stay as long as I stayed. I ended up leaving Chase when I opened my shoe store. The next week, I literally looked in the mirror like, man, I should have stayed there longer and stacked my bread. Something went wrong with the store. We couldn't open for 2 months out. I spent 2 months like, why'd I leave my job? Oh, man, this was the dumbest thing ever. I had a check coming in every 2 weeks and like, what's going on? You know what I mean? So we're constantly chasing what we want now. But we have to go after what we need. We're trying to manipulate ourselves into an easy life. Life is difficult. So the best thing you can do is be honest with yourself.
I think the worst manipulation for me was college.
Yeah.
Corporate America really made me feel like I was nothing without a degree. And man, Tim, I was so happier without that degree. I really wish I never pursued it. Was I already intelligent and smart? Yes, I was. I didn't need that piece of paper to validate me. And that is one of my biggest regrets. Is like, most people will look at my degrees as a badge of honor. I look at that as time could have been better spent doing something else. You know what I'm saying? But because you're and this is what we're talking about, your environment, your surroundings, they made me feel less than. I couldn't move up. That's one of the things they tell you when it comes to that corporate ladder. You're going to need this education, or you're going to need to be really good and knock it out the park every single time in order to move up to the next level. One or two things was happening. I wasn't willing to drink the Kool-Aid to be there for 60 hours a week just to move up. I had other aspirations to do. So no, I'm not going to be your corporate Kool-Aid drinker,
right?
Because not what's going to make me happy in the long run. But I have this family I have to support. So what's the quickest route? Let me go get this freaking degree. I almost cursed. Let me go get this freaking degree that you guys so hold over my head, only to find out that you still weren't going to give me that shit anyway.
Yeah. So this starts to now we're holding hands with the opposition. Now we're holding hands with people that have disagreements with us. Now we're holding hands against people that don't want to see us get ahead as Black men. So now as you start to look through your life and you add up all these single times that we were looking for validation, we wanted to feel like a man. Now look back through your life and realize how much we get manipulated as Black men. You know how many times I felt worthless when I wasn't bringing in no money? You know how many times I felt worthless when I couldn't be the type of father I wanted to be? And these are all social narratives. Like, we are men when we do these things. So they never stop and question, how do you feel if you're not getting these things done? You feel like crap. You feel worthless. You feel like nothing. You know what I mean? And that's why I had to break away. I was letting too many people define who I was, and I wasn't liking what I was seeing. So then I woke up one day and I'm like, you know what? I can't care what other people want me to be. And that's tough. I hope everyone that watches, men and women included, never see anything we say on this show and think we're saying it's easy. That was one of the hardest things I had to do in my life. You know what I mean? I had to redefine my value. So my value started to be how many doors I hold open for people. How many times I can feel one of my people has weird energy, I give them a hug and now they feel better. How many times I had the right words for my kids, how many times I came through. I started focusing on those things instead of how many times I could foot the bill. How many guys I beat up in the neighborhood, how much drugs I can sell, because those things started to become our value. You know what I mean? And there is no value in those things. So we're constantly spinning in a circle looking for approval of people who disapprove of us. So all of these things is why I say give people grace, because coming into that relationship with that man or woman, you don't know how many jobs rejected them. You don't know how many white people at work try to touch their hair or call them the N-word. You don't know what they've been through. And we all got baggage. You know what I mean? So our discernment needs to get better. We need to realize a lot of us have struggled. So let's stop putting each other further through the struggle. But it's the manipulation. It's the, again, I got to get up to where I'm going by standing on someone's neck. Like, that's nonsense, man.
But the manipulation is also, Tim, everybody now can't show their baggage. I can't show you my body. I can't show you that I was this person in this. I can't show you that I used to rob people, but now I've got myself together. People say in order to be accepted, I have to show you, and I'm generalizing this term, that I'm a virgin. You know, everybody wants a virgin. Everybody wants you to be untouched, unscathed, perfect. You haven't gone through shit. So therefore, if people really knew your dark past, what you've gone through, the experiences that they would judge you. So therefore, like I said, we as society will force people to manipulate, because if you know the real me, you're automatically going to start judging me, labeling me, and treating me according to what you think I should be treated like. So like you said, we all playing this game.
Yeah. And that comes to me now where we start actually describing and defining a healthy relationship, a family. They have to hold these values. They have to hold reciprocation and care. This is why I have so little friends. They think it's because I don't like people, which I really don't. But I have so few friends is because how do people treat themselves? It's how people treat the ones they claim they love. That's manipulation. When a person, when you can see they treat someone negatively or toxic, but every time they talk to you about it, it's uplifting, it's positive. I'm sure I'm changing their life. I know they can't live without me. Like, Cap, Cap, they look miserable. You're trying to sell me on you. You can't, that's impossible, because I've already seen what I need to see. I've already felt what I need to feel. So you can't convince me what I think I know about you. The best thing you can do is be yourself, because then now we're manifesting. It's the laws of attraction. If I'm looking for homies to go play ball with me and you're a football player, we're probably not going to link. That's manifesting. I'm going to run into guys who hoop so we can hoop together. Now we're growing. But if you play football, I'm not knocking you because you play football. You just don't fit into my thing. So you taking off your pads and going trying to get a ball and stand next to the guys is manipulation. You don't belong here, dog. Like, we weren't looking for you. And I get everybody else rejected you too, but you're going to have to hold this L too. Like, we wasn't looking for that. And see, this is to me now conforming. We're allowing and accepting things that we deemed unacceptable. And nobody is above that law. If I say it's unacceptable for somebody hitting me in my face, it's unacceptable. Even a small child, like, keep your hands to yourself. Like, it's off the board for me. And we got to have those boundaries with ourselves, man. We have to.
Listen, I'll fight a kid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and they be having little dirty, messy fingers. Get your Cheeto fingers off of me, man. But we manifest that. We allow that. When you see that parent on the bus just sitting there letting their kid pull their hair and jump off, you manifesting that, though. You're making them think this is okay. It's all about the response. Like Nip said, your response is the reason you exist. You only knew it was okay to go up to Shorty, the wood. You knew it wasn't okay to go smack a shorty's butt on the playground because her brother Stacy gonna beat you up after school. Like, we learn through seeing these things, and we have to see them. So yeah, there's another person across the street. Oh, that's not right what he did, man. But there's 9 niggas who learned a lesson from what you just did.
I was watching, man, it's funny that you say that because I was watching the G Herbo and Polo G documentary. And Polo G, brilliant guy.
I love Polo G. Shout out to Polo G.
Brilliant. Like most people, if you haven't watched the Polo G documentary, please go watch it. It's on Hulu. Just search Polo G. Brilliant young man who was a poet. Looked like he was well-to-do in school. Used to go to school in polos and clean jeans. And you wouldn't think now you see him, he's all tatted up and dreaded out and all this ice around him. And he's carrying this persona of a thug or gangster.
Yeah.
Pop Smoke, same way. Of course, if you're watching the Hulu documentary of Tupac went to art school. You know what I'm saying? He was a drama major. You know what I'm saying? But as Polo G said, man, in order to get this hip hop thing off where I'm at in my neighborhood, you can't show weakness. You can't show weakness at all. No matter if you feeling that way or not, you got to manipulate the next man that's going to try to really harm you. In this particular area of Chicago, I can be harmed for showing vulnerability.
Absolutely.
This is bad. When you talk about these divisive things that are happening in our community and why we're being so divided, it's because we can't even show weakness.
At all. Then to mix in with that, we're living under delusion. You know, a lot of us truly think we can change the world. Like, the world's going to change you before you change it. We can't be in these environments and think we're going to get all the guys to go to school and lead the hood. They've made their choice. You got to do what's best for you. You got to figure out your path. And too many of us, we do that. We seen that on Snowfall with Leon. Like, him and his wife was in Africa. He came back just to live in the projects because that's all he knew. And she's just like, yo, what do we do? You know what I mean? Like, what do we do? It's crazy out here. It's junkies, it's people killing each other, the cops busting in doors. But that's when someone decides, especially a man, it's so hard to change a man's mind. We're stubborn as hell. When someone decides this is the way for them, they are going to go that way. Again, you can't manipulate yourself. You can't tell yourself, oh, I'm just going to make a couple hundred more thousand in the hood. You look up, you've been in here for 10 years now. You never got out. We see that on every show. You can go from ghost and, yeah, I got these plans to make it out. And, man, that money too good. And you're making money for PXC. You thought you was manipulating them, but they trapped you. The plug is trapped in the game. That's why a lot of people don't want to be the plug. You don't get a life. Because if I start dealing with these dealers, making them $500,000 a year, you think they're going to let you retire? You think they're going to let you walk away from what you're doing? So you thought you trapped them, but they really trapped you the whole time. Like, you cannot manipulate self. You have to be honest. And when it's ready, time to wash your hands, you got to wash your hands with it. And that's going to be tough, but it's a lot more lucrative than you waiting around to see what happens next.
That's what Jessica said. They said they really spoon feed us and get us get a degree, get further narrative. They spoon feed all the paths for us. No greater of an episode. Since we want to talk about Snowfall, we want to go there.
Yes.
The most episode was Franklin getting denied his loan money.
Yeah.
That was the turn for him. People just thought that, okay, we're going to cut to episode 1 and Franklin's automatically selling weed. That was why I'm glad they didn't give you the whole backstory until the final season, because you wonder why, listen, I wear dreads and stuff now is because of a smirk. One smirk from a white superior. I said, all right, I got you. And that episode with Franklin, he was trying to go that path, that narrative that we think, man, go to college, get a good job, be your family is going to be proud of you and this, that, and the other. Meanwhile, Jerome and everybody else struggling in the neighborhood. And what did that school kick Franklin back to? Survival. Franklin didn't want to sell weed. It was just offered to him like, hey, you know, I know you need that school money. So initially he did it for school money, but then, as you said, the trap comes, the money starts coming. Man, fuck school, because by the time I graduate from school, I'm going to make more now than I'm going to make. I'm going to make more in a week than I'm going to make at a job in a year. So, like you said, the trap, because basically you're down these two paths. So, do you pick the path, or Tim, is the path already chosen for us?
I think that's why we need a village. I think you need multiple people actually advising you on that path, but we have to pick the path for ourselves. You know what I mean? Snowfall is one of the greatest TV shows I've ever seen in my life. And everything you said about Franklin, about that path, is 100%. It's how we do ourselves a disservice as Black people. We don't give our kids enough grace. Like, really think about that drug epidemic. There was a lot of kids trying to help grandma pay the bills. There was a lot of kids trying to help mom pay the bills. There was a lot of kids who was the older sibling trying to send little bro or little sister to school with some decent clothes so they don't get picked on. There's a lot of kids who was trying to put food in the fridge, who needed to buy a lawnmower. Like you said, Franklin got in that situation because his mom was being treated like shit by her employer and they made no money. So as much as she's just like, no, this is good for us, let's get by, you're not giving your kid grace. Because I'm that Franklin kid. You think I'm going to sit and watch you struggling and I ain't going to go make something shake? You're crazy. Like, you're crazy. I have to intervene myself now. It is because we're not already looking for those other opportunities. Too many of us get in that hood and get comfortable. And the point of the hood is to make it out. The point is to, like you said, it's growth. But when we get comfortable with that growth and we start trying to manipulate our kids to be okay with it and not having trips, and you seeing your friends have Christmases and they got to make you okay with not having it, that's also a form of manipulation. They're gaslighting you into not wanting to feel and like what you want to like because they can't afford it. That's too much for a child. They're going to go try to make that happen. You know what I mean? And I even love at the end, everything transpired. And his mom's just like, you know, you don't want to become a monster. He's just like, it's too late. Like, do you see everything I had to do to get here? You can't turn this off. We had to deal with this season one in the beginning. We had to deal with this. You let me deal with it my own way. And now we got a monster.
And let's be honest. Hold on. Could you read that from Dread, Tim?
Yeah. Let me see. Yes, they trained us in school to follow rules, made us believe if we follow their guidelines, we will succeed, and their guidelines don't work. They don't even follow them. Which is a fact. That's when kids picked up quickly school was nonsense. The teachers looked uninterested in the stuff they was teaching. And then you got the fact of our ancestors, our history, and our DNA. So no, algebra wasn't going to resonate with me. We doing geometry. We doing trigonometry. You know what I mean? So no, that stuff wasn't, they was trying to give us crumbs and we ordered cake, man.
I'm glad you said that, Tim, because now that we're dissecting, and you have to watch Snowfall. I'm sorry if you haven't.
Yeah, please watch Snowfall. Just for culture, just for Black culture. That's crazy.
Yeah, but let's talk about what Dre is saying.
Yeah.
Everybody focuses on Franklin, but we don't focus on the self-righteousness of Teddy. He was so self-righteous that and that's why I'm glad Franklin broke it down to its actual bare-naked truth. We're not talking about you trying to do something good for your country. You wanted to fill a hole inside of you, so you wanted to feel like you're my nigga, and I can take your power and I can do whatever it is that I want to do at any particular time. Not taking into account that I'm a smart Black man too, and I outsmarted you to be in this vulnerable position that you're in. You never took into account, word to Malcolm X, who said that the biggest manipulation that we can ever play on white people is to let them continue to think that we're dumb.
Yeah.
That's autobiography of Malcolm X. That's the biggest manipulation you can play on the system that keeps oppressing you, is to continue to let them think that you're dumb. But at the same time, you're still outsmarting. You're playing chess, not checkers. And that is where Teddy's downfall was. Him being so self-righteous, he played himself out of the position. He had Franklin in the position.
Yeah.
He walked him right there, but no, he wanted to play with him. He wanted to toy with him. You know what I'm saying? So at the same time, like she said, this system, all we have to do is wake up, because they're playing the same. They're playing. They can't be self-righteous. Like, oh, you guys sell drugs. This is the game that you gave us. Or all you guys want to be as rappers. This is the game that we have. Or all you guys beauticians and you know what I'm saying and whatever. This is the game.
Yeah.
Play sports.
And
what else did you get?
And that's where I would say that's where we hurt the most as black people. It's why Franklin always also lost. And if you look at the grand scheme of things, an outside person wouldn't consider him a loser. But he considered himself a loser because he didn't get the money. And why didn't he get the money? Because remember, Teddy told him when he was torturing him, when he got to the end, he was like, man, you fed me all this American bullshit about why you're upset, why you took my money. He was like, I really want to know what happened. You could have left me, it was $73 million. He said, you could have left me $5 million, but you had to clean me out. He's like, why is that? And Teddy broke down and he finally told him, he said, it's because you left me. And he's like, huh? He's like, you left me. You retired. What did I just say about the plug? He didn't want to be the plug no more. You can't just retire from, you making too many people too much money. You can't just walk away from something you agreed to now that you're seeing it for what it is. That's why I got out the insurance when I did, because I was worried if I stay in too long, I'm not going to be able to leave. That was his issue. You know what I mean? Like, man, that's such a good show.
I don't want people to say that Franklin lost, because if you really keyed in on what he told Leon at the very last end of everybody wanted to feel sorry for Franklin. But the wisest part out of the whole entire show was, as I've been telling people all the time, I don't care how you perceive me, I'm free from the matrix. When he looked at Leon and said, Lee, I'm free of all of this shit. So even though his mind was gone, he said, they're going to take everything the same way they took everything else. Yeah. But me understanding the game, I'm free of all of this shit now.
But look at what it costs. Look at what it costs, though. That's to me, and that's just me speaking for myself. That's not worth it. It cost you your wife, your kid. You lost both your parents. Your mom's in prison forever. Your dad's dead. You lost your best friend. You lost y'all's house. You lost your businesses. That's why I say he lost, because at the end, when he could have just let it go, even his wife was like, let's just sell all our properties and start over. He couldn't do it. You wouldn't allow yourself to do something else. You won't change your plan. You set off on. You too focused on it. And that's why Teddy had you in that deep, because he knew that money was going to change you, and it did. That's why I say he lost. And then you became your dad. He resented his dad the whole show, his whole life. And then there was that moment when his dad and mom got back together. But even Franklin still called him Alton. He really didn't consider him his dad. So now your dad's vice was crack. Yours became alcohol. Isn't that ironic? You know what I mean? Because at the beginning, that's how all of this started. When he got the cocaine, he was giving it away for free. In the last episode, when he was freaking out over the money, the bartender gave him that drink for free. And that became the thing he got addicted on. He became an alcoholic. Like, so it's not the fact that, you know, he's an alcoholic or he's down on his luck. It costs you everything, man. Like, that money ain't worth that. That money's not worth a human being.
Yeah, but breaking it down to its necessity, when you walk away from that stressful life, or the life that you think that you need or have, and when you really, like, going back to what you said, really be grateful, you are in a perfect position. And let me ask you this, Tim, and I'll ask Jesse, Deshaun, and I'll ask Adrian, if you're still on the check.
Yes, Blue Hill Avenue, fire.
Adrian.
Similar to Blue Hill Avenue, yeah. Go ahead, I'm listening.
So, in this day and age, everybody wants to be a millionaire, and a lot of people want to be married, not knowing that both of these things could make you very unhappy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Being a millionaire can solve your financial problems, but it has caused so many people problems that they don't even realize, like you said, go back to manifestation, go back to what Deshaun was saying, they don't even realize the problems. So why do so many people want what they probably can't even handle? People want to be married so much, but they probably can't even handle the compromise of being married, the actual, you know, having to work with someone that you may not always get along with every day. to work toward a common goal. People want these two things, to be rich and to be in this American dream, but I don't think a lot of people are mentally ready to handle that.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't think it is because the intentions on why they want it. They want it because they think it's going to change their life. But the irony is you got to change your life to get those things. You know what I mean? That's the same thing Franklin kept saying. This money is going to change this. And even his baby mom, his fiance at the time, is telling him, no, it's not. Like, we've been having this money for a while now. It has not changed anything. People are still trying to shoot and kill you. I'm still stressed as hell in my third trimester. This is going to make things worse. You know what I mean? It was his mom's motivation behind killing Teddy because he was so locked into that money, he was about to let him go. She's like, do you really think he's going to just let this go? Like, look at what he did to your dad. He's not just going to let this go. You're so blinded by what you want. You can't see you have it all around you. You got your friends and family. You got your health. And we trade in those things because the unimaginable, the impossible goal is easy to go after. It's easy to go after because you can just leave. You can just quit. And then practically you can be like, oh, I wasn't good enough anyway. It's hard to go after something you know you could possibly get. Because then when you don't get it, that downfall, like, that's what hurts people. That's what people avoid is that rejection. So if they already see the rejection coming, they're just going to reject themselves. They're going to do something they know they're going to fail at so they can look like they're healing or look like they're happy or look like they're rich until life shows otherwise. And then they act depressed. It's all manipulation. And then they act so hurt and depressed. And then what do? Oh, I'm about to go get a new job or cut my hair or join the army or go to college. And then we all get happy for them. Yeah, they figured it out. And now they're struggling about to quit that. And we're like, oh no. And they're like, what they do? I'm about to go get in a new relationship. I'm about to change apart. I'm about to move to Atlanta. And then they go to Atlanta and now Atlanta's on fire. Like, it don't matter where you go if you're the problem. You're going to take the problem with you. So before you go get that money, before you go chase that love, heal. Spend time with yourself. Get to know yourself. These are the issues. You know what I mean? We keep trying to be people we're not, and then we get upset when we start looking like it. It's crazy.
I just don't think, like you said, going back, people really understand what they're trying to manifest. I don't really, and going back to these comments, I mean, that's what Deshaun said. It's the lack of understanding. Bingo, Tim Russell. Mm-hmm. Adrian said it's what those things mean for them. Marriage may mean for them security and love, but doesn't really if they don't secure themselves, if they don't love themselves. You know, marriage is not going to fix your loneliness. Exactly. Marriage is not fix. Like, I heard, and I'm not trying to get on no relationship shit, but and put out a meme that said, if you were a man and you're still struggling financially, then you need to get the hell out of that situation because you could do bad by yourself. I'm like, how do you? That's manipulation. How do you know that? Problem. People want to, point fingers and like you said, there's two pointing back at you to say you're the problem. How do you know that you're not overspending? How do you know that you're not setting this man up for success or being part of his catapult to succeed? I mean, these are a lot of factors that people aren't taking into consideration when they want to consider marriage or being this millionaire. Man, when you become a millionaire, how many family members is going to have their hands out? How many family are going to start trying to manipulate you and try to give you this survivor's remorse? Like, oh, I see you doing good. They don't even have to know you're a millionaire. They can just see by the fruits of the things that you start doing, such as going on vacations with your family, purchasing workable cars, not even luxury cars, but runnable cars. You know what I'm saying? The air that you don't have any financial stress on you. You don't have to stunt for people to be resentful and whatever. But that's what I'm saying is that these are some of the problems that can come as well. You don't know what you're asking for, but you want it because everybody else has it. This is the narrative that you've been fed. I have to get married. I have to be rich. I have to have the biggest, baddest, successful job. I have to have the biggest and baddest clothes. You don't know what none of that shit gonna come with.
Yeah. And it goes to show, like, all of this ties into why I believe we'll never just be healed. We're always healing. Because that part of humility, I still have to check myself. You know what I mean? I still have to look at my account some months after I've invested in the businesses, paid child support, paid myself, you know what I mean? And try to do the things I'm trying to do and look at it like, damn, okay, this is fine. This is okay. You know, it's not the end of the world.
Right.
Everything's not falling apart. And that's the grace. That's the grace in being like, it's fine. It's okay. Instead of us being like, no, I need another job. I gotta stop eating out. I gotta like everything's not an alarm. You know what I mean? Don't let your bad day trick you into thinking you have a bad life. Like that's not what's happening. This is
Right.
okay what you're doing. And now, men, again, this is where the division's coming in because everything that you just said, I agree 100%. And it's what makes men look at women now like that's a contradiction. You can't have women saying they want to be more independent and make more money and then make comments like, oh, she can't be living with a man and be broke. That's a two-way street. That means both of y'all need to be responsible for the money coming in. So now we're talking families. But as long as we keep allowing social media to pit those divisive questions and divisive posts, you know what I mean? Like, we're being manipulated. We're letting them think everything's okay, but really at home, we're at each other's necks. I don't, like, if me and my relationship is not well, let's fix it. I don't believe in going out in the public and smiling for everybody and making them think we're okay because I'm not living my relationship for public consumption. You know what I
Right.
mean? The only part of my relationship I want people to take heed in is the lessons so that you can apply them to your own. But at none of this, we're doing things that make you think, oh, relationships should be doing this. They go out to eat. Why don't we go out to eat? And that's, I hear couples talk like this. Well, he took her out of town. Well, she cooks for him. You know what I mean? Like, you got to find your thing in everything you do. And you're not going to find it outside. You have to look within. So if you're with a person that you rarely want to look within and it's all outward thinking, you got to detach from that. They're not for you. They like the idea of you. They like the opportunities you can bring, but are they here for you? Do they know you? And once we start having that discernment and we force people to live within those boundaries, things will change. But we're so sensitive. We're trying to make sure everybody got a spouse. We trying to make sure everybody got a house and a pet. And they don't want them things for themselves. They don't invest in those things. We can't make all these promises anymore as black people. They have to do the work. And I know we've seen them lives and we know them and we say, well, no, but you know, Tommy didn't have his dad. A lot of people didn't have their dad. Tommy still has to do the work. Well, you know, Tommy's first relationship, we all have bad first relationships. Tommy still has to do the work. There is no excuses in life. You know what I mean? There's nowhere to run and hide. Either rise up to
I,
the occasion or get out the way and let us live it. You know what I mean?
and people going back, we said this a few shows ago about opportunity cost. People want it all and can't have it all. You can't have the dope marriage and hold on to friends that are divisive to your marriage.
Thank you.
You can't. You
You can't.
can't. You can't be a millionaire and get up at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock in the afternoon when the millionaires have gotten in the morning. You're
Right. And you getting up to gamble. You're a gambler.
yeah,
Millionaires and gamblers don't go hand in hand.
exactly. People hold on to their old life and then want this, and you can't do it. You have to put yourself in the mindset. Now you can try. Now anybody, and then let's put this manipulative. Anybody can try to fit that square peg in that round hole. You can try to fit it. And let's say you fit it. Now that square is all beat to shit.
Or stuck.
Because you forced it in instead of really analyzing, do I want a healthy relationship with a healthy household, or do I want to kick it? You know what I'm saying? Do I want to be the perfect picture of a basketball wife, or whatever the hell it is that I'm being spoon fed on TV? Do I really want this job? You know what I'm saying? Or do I really want to make this amount of money, but I'm only willing to put in 4 to 5 to 6 hours a day just to get it? We're manipulating ourselves to think that everything is a freaking quick fix, or I can still hold on to this lifestyle and still reap the benefits of this lifestyle, and it just doesn't work.
And you hit the nail on the head, man. Like, It's all self-manipulation at the end of the day. You have to know self. You know what I mean? Let's look at reality TV. Let's look what the world is today. You can make $1 million this day and age practically doing anything. you could run into a cop and they discriminate against you and you get cashed out. People are getting checks for that right now. You could get a millionaire off of anything. So I had to refocus how I thought about it. I had to stop asking for $1 million and ask myself, am I the type of person who can handle $1 million? Because we all know ourselves. I played Grand Theft Auto. I'm gonna go get a boat. I got a penthouse now. I got a bike outside. I got 2 cars in the garage. None of them got gas, but I own them. They mine. You dig? Like at that point in my life, I was not ready for a million. Please, world, don't give me $1 million. I'm gonna fuck it up. Like, so we gotta ask ourselves, and then that's how I start to grow myself as a person. Are you the type of person? Are you the type of man a woman will want to marry? You know what I mean? These are the questions. This is manifesting. This is what I ask myself because now I'm giving myself options. Okay, let's say I'm not. So what do I need to do? That's manifesting. Now, what do I need to do to become that husband? Are you the type of dad that your kids will look up to you like, you know what, thanks. When they get older, I really needed what you did. And if you're not today, it's not the end of the world. Now you got work to do. Now, what are you prepared to do to get there? That's why I give myself so much grace. That's why I value myself so highly. It's not for what I've done. It's not for what I'm going to do. It's what I'm prepared to do.
Right.
That's why my enemies don't like me, because I'm going to take you places you're not prepared to go. And I go to those places frequently. So trust me, I'm so confident because I'm willing to take it there. And if you got food and we breaking bread and money, I want to take it there too. I'm willing to take it wherever you want to take it, fam. You let me know, and that's why my life goes the way it do. I don't bother people. I had to learn through manifesting. I'm being a spoiled ass brat. I'm asking for too much. Yo, universe, I need a wife. I need a new house. I need people to look at me with respect. I need my kids to answer me, yes, sir. You know what I'm asking for too much. And do I deserve that? Look at what you put into the world. Do you deserve that? I had to really be honest with myself. That's where the growth lies. You know what I mean? We cannot lie to ourselves, people. We got to cut that out.
And that's what I want to charge with our men. If we claim that we want to reclaim leadership in our families as men and be treated as kings, man, do you really run your household efficiently?
Thank you.
Have a plan, a 5, 10, and 15-year plan for your house. When you've laid out that plan to your spouse and says, these are the things that I want to do, how can we make sure that we achieve this? And are we willing to do what it takes to achieve this 5, 10, and 15-year plan? You ask the average man who runs the household what his 5, 10, 15-year plan, he probably won't have.
Doesn't have one. Nope.
He probably won't have one. He probably has not. I mean, and this is what happens when you live to pay for bills. You let the system push you and move you across the chessboard instead of you controlling the pieces of the chessboard. At least when you make a plan, you decide what won't work and you can make adjustments for that plan. But you ask the average person what their 5, 10, because it's easy, like you said. People don't understand. Men want to be married too, but they make sure that they're marrying the right person.
They want a healthy marriage. So we're not just willing to settle for the marriage. We want the right marriage.
That is a misconception that men don't want to be married. Men, yes, the fuck they do want to be married, but they know that if I marry the wrong person, I could spend years trying to bounce back. Yep. But I'm holding charge to men and says, man, if you lay out the plan, there is no plan without contingency. So therefore, you should have a contingency if something goes wrong. This is a company. This is how you should run your life. If something goes wrong, this is the contingency. But what they do is they go into this thing with a bunch of feelings and emotions and wonder why they've lost everything emotionally. Like, how did you lose half of your shit? Well, because I thought that she never do what the fuck she was going to do.
Yes.
You never put it past her that once she got in her feelings, she was going to take your ass to court and clean your ass out to make you feel the pain of that. So therefore, once you set up that 5, 10, 15-year plan and put that in place, I'm like, okay, if this don't work out, we got this in place. And she can be good, and I also can be good, and nobody has to lose, at least financially. At least the only thing that we have to process is the psychological trauma of
Yeah.
our separation. But there's no pettiness involved because we got paperwork involved, we got lawyers involved, we got all these people that society is telling you, oh, you should marry for love. That's fucking manipulation.
Yeah. 100%, 100%. And God, I love this where this went. You know what you just brought up, because I think you're making a beautiful point. And this is where now we turn the table. This is where now we direct it to the men, because everything you just described is insecurity. And I'll be the first one to put myself out there. I had this insecurity, just not knowing. You know what I mean? I wasn't proud of it, but it happened. When I first started having children, I didn't technically tell everyone I had children because I was worried people wouldn't look at this in a good light. I was worried that this was counting against me. And then I got older and I'm like, shit, women love a good dad. You know what I mean? They love this. You got to tell people this. I got divorced. I wasn't so quick to tell people because I thought I was damaged goods. I thought my stock was plummeting because that's what society would want you to think. You know what I mean? 10, 15 years ago, I was looking on social media. People were bragging about not having kids. I'm like, this is a weird flex. Like, this is a weird flex. Because a lot of parents I know got their lives together and they're growing. Yeah. A lot of people I know without kids, and this isn't good or bad, they still living their life. They still bachelor padding. They still kicking it. So I'm like, it's a weird flex for me. You know what I mean? And I had to realize you don't dictate how people feel. You have to give them a chance to feel something. We cannot control, and that's manipulation. We're trying to control a person feels by just giving them so much information. So then they start liking you for 2 years. Year 3, they really get to know you. You got that 2-year cushion. Manipulation. We all have done things along those lines. We just have to heal. And a lot of us, we need people to tell us what we're doing. That's why I'm so straightforward. That's why I'm so direct. I'm not here to shame people. Sometimes you can't smell your shit. That's why we got friends, so they can tell you, yo, you're sleeping with too many men. Bro, too many drugs, too much Henny. Like, just slow it down. Have you seen your kids lately? What's up?
Bro, you're sleeping with too many women, bro. Together, bro. You cannot keep swapping your energy out and losing your alpha maleness, man. You cannot keep doing that. You know, so you have to be careful who you're swapping energies with too. But man, I was on the verge of saying something, and you had hit it right on.
Yeah. Because where I was taking it to is one of my favorite all-time quotes. You know, I am a cinema buff. I've seen most shows in movies, you know what I mean? My favorite couple ever, Dwayne and Whitley, man. One of the most powerful scenes they had is when he was asking her, would you date a broke, uninspired man? You know what I mean? And her response is, I don't have to worry about that because the type of man I'm interested in could never be none of those things, whether he has money or not. And that shit hit me. It hit me deep. I was like, this is the type of woman I'm looking. That's a queen to me. That's when she said that was powerful.
I just remember when you was talking about the withholding of information.
Yeah.
The minute I want people to understand, the minute that you withhold vital information from someone because it could change the outcome of what you want it to go or the direction you want it to go, you have now manipulated that situation.
Yep.
The minute that you withheld or told false information about who you are because you knew that it would change the course of that, whatever that relationship is, that is now manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what people need to understand. It's not good or bad. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, the government manipulates us. If we are really, government don't like woke people. The government does not like people being exposed. I mean, there's a lot of speculation, and this is a public format, and I'm not going to limit how far this platform can go, but I still want to take a chance in saying this, is that in the media, I really believe that Jamie Foxx knows something, and I really believe that they're going to exterminate that brother for whatever he knows about Diddy or whatever he knows about whoever. I truly believe that. You may call me conspiracy theorist or what have you, but when the powers that be see that you're awakening and that you can expose them and awaken other people, their job is to neutralize that situation and really get you up out of here. I really think that if this guy passes, I don't believe it was a natural cause. I really honestly believe that Jamie Foxx has been being exterminated.
I agree, and I just don't believe in coincidence and randomness. I don't think things are random as we think they are. You know what I mean? And let's look at who Jamie Foxx is. Like, he's one of our last great storytellers, and he gets people to listen. He gets attention. He gets motherfuckers up and wanting to do something. So yeah, like, he's an activist. A lot of these entertainers are activists and revolutionaries. They're just still trying to have a day job. This
Yeah,
is everything me and you've been talking about. It's
right.
why I've never wanted to be a celebrity. It's just too many people involved with my well-being. It's too many people handing me drinks or telling me take this medicine or here, go get in this car to go to this place. And I don't know where I'm going. I don't know these people. I don't know where I'm going. You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot of trust for somebody that don't trust many people. You dig? Especially with my well-being and my children. Oh yeah,
Right.
go to the airport. I'm gonna take your kids home. Like, nah. I drive myself where I go. Like, I would be one of them celebrities. I would be alone because it's a lot of factors that come in. And then you think about all the movies he's done, the movies that he's working on in the future. I don't think nothing's random, man. Like, and I know people get sick all the time, but this whole story is just, it's holes. It's a lot of holes, man.
Yeah, it really is, man. And like I said, there is a community that is advanced and continuing to advance that definitely has an agenda. Some of it, I see them using the same tactics of any movement, but I see a lot of manipulation within that movement, within that particular group. And even when I watch Power, I see the agenda and I'm like, man, you know who watches this show and who it's catered to. So when I see excessive scenes with Drew, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
having intercourse with his lover, I'm like, okay, that's manipulation. You're really trying to
Yeah.
program and make this a normalcy, which in your world it could be a normalcy, but in my world it's not. I'm not bashing your world. I'm not beating down or punching down on your world. I'm just saying that when I shared the meme, we want to see more heterosexual scenes in Power. And 50, you're from this culture that you know what I'm saying, that not so much frowns upon it, but you're from a masculine culture. So for you to green like this, like 50, what's really going on? We still want some balance in these lovemaking scenes. So I mean, and that's the stance that I'm going to take on it. But I do point out manipulation and programming in a lot of programs that we
And
see.
they were trying to make everybody feel comfortable. And I feel like that's why they're making their departure. Power 50 created his own studio to make his own content. P Valley is in a standstill with Stars. They said they're not making no more content or renewing until they give them a better deal. I think a lot of this is the nature of the beast. That's what I said. Like, it's you hit the nail on the head. Everyone who conforms, it was not their intentions to conform.
Right.
They don't understand the arena they're stepping into. As Black people, every new thing we do, we haven't been in this for 100, 200 years. They didn't let us. So
Right.
now that we're stepping into it, yeah, they're going to charge you more than others. Yeah, they're going to pay you less than others. And they're going to see how long you put up with it. See, that's how we fight back. You know what I mean? If we really wanted to revolutionize, take 50 million people in America, don't go to work on Monday. Don't spend no money on Monday, don't go to work. You know how hard that's going to hit them? Like, our economy will start to cripple. They will have to start to include us. But as long as we're willing to fight off each other to get this shitty opportunity for us, we always going to be behind. We're always going to be divided. We're always going to be, well, if everyone wins, then I don't win. Like, everyone can win. All the businesses on the block can be successful. Y'all don't have to be in competition, but that's the narrative. I was talking about this on my last show. Like, I broke that narrative when I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like, I love Cheetos. When I found out them and Doritos was owned by the same company, I felt tricked. I felt lied to. Y'all had us thinking they was beefing this whole time, and one man's making all the money from both. I said, and then you find out Frito-Lay owns most of the chips. You find out Coca-Cola and Pepsi owns most of the pops. Bro, this stuff has been rigged well. They got us fighting over left and right Twix, man. Like, damn, like
You, you know,
what's going on?
you know this thing. I still want to stay on that comic relief line, man. I want to stay on this line of humor. The humorous thing was for me, I never forget it. I was about 12 years old, and I was on a visit to visit my dad.
Okay.
And so, I'm just Hulk Hogan this and Hulk Hogan that, and what Hulk Hogan did last night. Just telling them, because the night before I done watched WWF Friday Night Main Event, da, 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 da. And he just looked at me one day and he said, Hulk Hogan and Roddy Piper are friends, right? he said, Hulk Hogan and Macho Man is actually friends, right? I was like, no way.
They hate each other.
I'm defending. And he just looked at me like, bruh, it's fake. And you couldn't tell me at that point and moment that wrestling was fake, because you know what I'm saying, as a kid.
Wasn't ready to hear that. Wasn't ready to hear that.
You want to be manipulated. You welcoming the manipulation.
It's what makes it so good.
Don't wake me up from this dream. I think Hulk Hogan can whoop everybody's ass, and I don't want to wake up from this dream. Translation to now, nobody wants to wake up from the fucking dream. You know what I'm saying?
No, and they got us all.
Hulk Hogan to punch the shit out of Macho Man, not knowing that they going to dinner.
Hey, they got us all, man. The biggest lie for us wrestling was Kane and Undertaker, brothers.
Yeah.
Parents died in a house fire. Kane came back from hell. As a kid, I'm like, hell yeah. When I got older, I was like, okay, I see some holes in their storyline now. Okay, maybe. And then I still see people going to see wrestling. I love it. I think we need that. We still need that whimsical, that childlike excitement. Wrestling was everything to a kid, man. Wrestling was everything.
Saying wrestling was fake was like saying there was no Santa Claus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can fuck a kid up. You can fuck a kid up.
It's like calling your grandma the B word. Like, we gotta fight. Who you talking to? Grandma's a saint. you ready to flip tables over?
But that's the last part of the conversation is people don't want to know the truth because the truth is too hard.
Yeah.
So they would like to be stroked. They would like to be manipulated, because you start fucking with people's beliefs, you got an argument on your hands. This is why, if we're going to round this conversation off, the divide is, I don't want you impending on my beliefs.
Yes. This
is what I've grown up all my life, and I'm not ready to wake up to not just a truth, because like you said, the truth is interpretive. It's perception. It's a lot of things. There's a lot of facets to what we call truth. So my truth is not your truth. So if I call myself giving you truth, the truth according to who? So a smart person would be like, okay, you talking right, but that's not what I believe, and that's not my perception, and that's not the way I feel about that situation. So you can't tell me you're right and I'm wrong. It's just how we all perceive things.
And that's how we keep that toxic paradigm going. Because just like I want to still believe wrestling is fake, even though it's not, I can't get mad that someone's saying it's fake, because it technically is. But my reaction to that is so what? I still like it. You know what I mean? That's fine. See, that's the healing. That's the grace for yourself. Someone can be telling the truth saying it's fake, but that doesn't mean I got to stop watching it or believing that it's real. That's fine that you want to believe that. Let people enjoy their shit. We don't have to be the fun police. Like, let people have their things and enjoy their things. Like, we don't have to dictate how people live their lives to make us comfortable. You know what I mean? Let them. I love it, man. I see fathers taking their sons to wrestling. I see mothers taking their daughters to wrestling. I love the atmosphere. You see old people, young people. That's what we need. We need to all come together and celebrate, like a concert, like a sporting event. That's why those things are so popular, because we can all come in there and have a good time. But we doing ourselves a disservice telling people what to believe and then getting upset because of what they believe. Like, to each his own, man.
So that being said, is it okay to live a lie or no?
Yeah, it depends on how you want to live your life. You know what I mean? People live lives every day. They tell themselves they're happy. They tell themselves their spouse want to be here. They tell themselves their job's going to work out and they're paying me a good wage. They lie to themselves every single day. So you ain't going to step out of the lies until you let every single lie go. See, we're very convenient healers. We only heal the parts we feel comfortable in healing. But the things that you need to focus on the most is the things you've been letting linger. The things that you feel you can't deal with. That's what you need to start. Because if that's your worst problem and you deal with that, it's going to be a downward hill. Everything that you hitting after is you got that confidence. But if you're just trying to start where it's easy and work your way up, you're going to fall more times than not. You know what I mean?
That's why I love, if any of our listeners are on the line right now, watch the documentary. It's on HBO. If you got HBO, the app, or HBO Max, the documentary called Religious. It's by Bill Maher. And
Fire.
It really is. I want you to approach that documentary with an open mind, because this is Bill Maher's truth. It doesn't necessarily have to be your truth, but there's a lot of debunking of the Bible and the biblical philosophies that go along with it. But the one scene that I love is when he's in the trailer with the truckers, and they are really getting fired up, talking about, you can't be talking about my God. You can't be talking about this, that, and the other. And they getting fired up. He said, I'm not really here to dispute that. He said, but as smart as you are, you can't believe in the talking snake. There's absolutely no way that intelligent men like yourself are going to believe in the talking snake. He said, I'm not here to question a faith. And the iconic moment was, he said, a guy that's doing life in prison, I understand his need to believe in something. You have to have some sort of hope. He said, but people that are in the free world who have free minds to think and at least question certain things, I'm just not going to shut my mind off to that. And I thought that was profound. You know what I'm saying?
That's huge. That's exactly how we get manipulated. They can only manipulate you when you're comfortable. That's why they don't want us thinking, because when you think, you can't be controlled. When you think for yourself, that's the only thing that's got them, having us under this programming. Is because we want to be, like you said, we want to live in our comfortable truth. And your comfortable truth is usually a lie. It's a lie you're trying to tell yourself to make yourself feel better about your situation or your past or your mental state. You know what I mean? But that's what healing says. Like, even if you're afraid, even if you're drained, you're doing this for a reason. You're getting to this for a higher self of living. That doesn't mean you're going to stop lying and making mistakes. That means once you now step into that same position, you can identify what you're doing. You can check yourself. You have a choice. Either keep being an asshole or now, okay, let me apologize and change what I said or how I meant. You know what I mean? But it has to be important to you. So the same works with healing. We're trying to trick people into healing and manipulate them into healing. They have to want to do that. You know what I mean? So now on the other side, grace is you don't have to shame them for not choosing to heal. That doesn't mean they're a bad person or you're better or they're worse. It means this is where they are in their journey, because they could heal it in 5 years and none of this matter anymore for the rest of their life. So we got to stop dictating people's healing and just give them grace and realize your healing is a journey. So either I can be a part of it or not, but I can't push you in the back and force you and rush you and shame you into being there. It's going to make you not want to take the journey with me. You may still want to do it, but you're not going to want to do it when I'm around. And we push ourselves so many times out of people's lives. You know what I mean? I tell most people that when I'm parting ways with them, like, I'm not mad at you or there's nothing you did wrong, but you're pushing me away. It's how you treat yourself. It's how you treat me. It's your inability to want to heal, but you want to have fun. And I can respect that, but you got to do that over there. Because again, I manifest everything that's close to me. So if you're doing that shit, that's going to start getting into what I'm receiving. And we're wondering why things go the way they go for us. You know, you made a comment on a show a while ago. I make this comment all the time. I can only maybe name one instance to where I was going out and me and the guys got in a fight and it was my fault. Most of the times we went out and it was a fight. It was one of their beef that I'm just loyal to them, so I'm in it. But if I wouldn't have went out, I wouldn't have known that I had nothing to do with it. And the one time that it was my fault, at the end of it, the guy came to me like it was a misunderstanding. I don't invite that stuff into my life. So if it's here for it. It's not random. It's not coincidental. I'm around some people who bringing that baggage with them. So I can love you from a distance. You're still not a bad person, but every time you come around, it starts to rain. I
And
need some sunshine in my life, family.
I had to give that situation grace because that was a particular situation. I knew I didn't want to go. I knew I didn't want to go. And because of my loyalty and my undying loyalty, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go. And when it went the way that it went, I was like, you know,
Going against our first nature. You know what I mean? And that's how we try to manipulate ourselves. Oh no, he's a good guy. And what? This boy that had you in more stuff than a little bit. Like, and you can still love him and be honest about him. To me, the honesty is the love. It's hard for me to tell somebody I love him, I'm not being truthful with you, even if it's hard for you to hear. I think that's what you need to hear the most, because I want you to know where I stand. And I stand on the path of righteousness, which is understanding. That means I don't go off of the end of the deck. I don't jump off the porch unless I have an understanding. I stay calm. But once I understand, yo, it's smoke, that's what I'm doing. I don't regret that anymore. So my friends were manipulating me because they knew I was a rider. Your hood is manipulating you because they know you the shooter. Your friends is manipulating you because they know you the one that's gonna go get the money. So we can blow all the money at the club because you gonna wake up and go get it. They gonna sleep in drunk the whole next day.
Or your friends or whoever manipulates you because they know you care what they think. They know that you care, and the repercussions of them turning a cold shoulder or turning their back on you, they know that you're going to feel that. So that's where that manipulation. It's. I can manipulate you if I can make you feel a loss.
Yep.
This is why we have to be careful of how we're programmed, because basically the media feeds off of fear. This is how I used to survive in the sales world. Oh, we only got this deal for so long. You can only take advantage of this for so long. Well, housing rates are going up. You might want to jump on this right now. When you feel that sense of loss, now I know I can manipulate you. When I know that I'm valuable in your life, you know what I'm saying, and the absence of me, I can now manipulate you. And like you said, sometimes manipulation is good.
Mm-hmm.
It does save people from making a bad choice. Sometimes I'm manipulating her son from going out and fuck it up, you know what I'm saying, when he hit the streets. I consider that a good manipulation. Sometimes
I agree.
That wife trying to save her marriage or save her, she's doing it with all great intentions in the world. Now, I wanted to pose this question.
Yeah.
Before we got out of here. This whole cancel culture and this quickness to cut people off. And I posed this question to the fellas last night.
Mm-hmm.
When do it's to have grace or set the boundary? Again, give grace, which means that I know who you are. I know what you're capable of. I know your personality. So even though, you know, it may not be favorable, I'm going to give you grace. But then the boundary is, hey, listen, I don't like this. I don't like what you're presenting to me. And in order for us to continue our social contract, I'm going to have to set this boundary. You know what I'm saying? So when is it a good time to give grace, and when do you set the boundary?
I think grace is given under context in that type of environment. It's hard to give grace publicly. And the reason I say this is because if you give someone that much power to where you are, they also have the power to take you away from where you are. You know what I mean? These celebrities are celebrities because of the people. So it's the people's right to cancel you if they no longer want you to be a celebrity or in the public eye. It's to what I feel like you got to take both. You know what I mean? And again, that's where we get into trouble as people. We be trying to look for one side. You got to accept both sides that comes with what you're a part of. Because one of the sides you might not like, but understanding that side may be key to your survival. And this other side you may like, that may be what's causing the issue because you just love being a celebrity. How many times have, the people canceled the celebrity and the celebrity was like, you know what, they're right. Like, I'm fucking up. That's the last thing they do. They're like, no, I got a family to feed. Manipulation. I got a family to feed. I've been doing this for all these years, but they don't want you no more. So if they are strong enough to decide that you're on, they're strong enough to pull you. That is the responsibility of what you're doing. And that's why a lot of people get pulled, because they want the title without the responsibility. You just want to be a celebrity, but you don't want to have to be held to a higher standard. Once you're in the public eye and you got a following, you have a responsibility to hold yourself to a higher standard. The public shouldn't be having to do these things. So I think it's just easier for them to cancel you versus them wait 2 years for you to have another scandal. You know what I mean? We look at rappers like the Baby. It's a bunch of people. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I feel like you were manipulating them. I feel like what you did was a part of you, and they didn't know about it because you kept it from them. You know what I mean? And in the 90s and the 80s, we didn't have that. You brought it up with Pac. Pac could get on the interview and talk shit. When them cops got killed, he was on the interview talking shit. When he was in court, he was on the interview talking shit. At no point in time was he trying to hide who he was. Everything you named, he would say he was. Yo, I'm the movie actor. I'm the scholar. I'm the revolutionary. I'm the black king. I can be the thug if you want me to be. And this day and age, again, like I said, with my experience of not feeling comfortable saying who you are, it's too many people with too many things to hide. So once that first thing happens, I think you have to get canceled, man. I'm not saying you got to have a perfect record and no blemishes, but hey, it come with the territory.
Right. I just really think that, we're losing leadership culture because everybody's an individualist. And if you got, I'm sorry, if you got 10 people and 10 people with, all different ideas, you're not going to get that engine running in one direction. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's going to have to submit to somebody in a subordinate situation. This is why, people can have their own thoughts all they want to, but it really does come down to leverage at the end.
Absolutely.
It really manipulation comes down to leverage. Like, can you really do without me? Can you really, as far as the value that I bring into your life, can you do without it? And if you can, then that's our answer right there. But it's who's going to fit into whose world. You know what I'm saying? Yes. And like you said, leadership and subordinates is interchangeable for everybody.
Everybody.
We all have different information. Even this show, as the owner of Radio 270, but there was something that said, Tim has a great insight. Let me give him his show. Let me be the co-host to this. Interchangeable, because you have more information about this thing. So therefore, but I can still help. I can still,
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what people need to understand is that you can be a leader and still get what you want by helping. But I think that people have a misconception of leadership, and I think this is where we're failing. This is where we're
people are trying to regain clout. People are trying to hold on to their youth. And at the end of the day, every season, every year, you know what I mean? There's a season of spring. There has to be spring cleaning. This is what I believe spiritually. We cannot bring new things in our life without getting rid of the old. So what happened in music, what happened in movies, what happened in the game is these old heads don't want to step down. You know what I mean? Love you to death for what you did, but Genuine, it's time to wrap it up, my guy. It's time to retire, G. Let these young guys sing. Let them get these ticket sales. Like, we don't be wanting to leave our position. We say, again, we try to manipulate ourselves. Oh, I got everything out of it. I made good money. So step down. So let someone else do it. But they can't. They got to keep going to their 80, still doing their little two-step. Like, nah, man, like, this is what's messing up the game. Even in the workforce, we got these old heads working jobs for 18-year-olds and 16, 17-year-olds. So what are they supposed to do? They going to go to the streets and sell drugs. They still need money. The world is more expensive than most expensive than it's ever been. People need jobs, but they can't get these jobs because someone's been working there for 27 years and never wanted to move up, never wanted to change, never wanted to do anything different. You know what I mean? So that's why we're becoming so selfish. We really not worried about anybody else. As long as we get ours, we good. So yeah, I would cancel your ass. So there, that's cool. So if you ain't doing what we want you to do collectively, cancel.
Man, but it goes back to what you said, is that Leon had to come back from Africa because he didn't know anything else. Genuine doesn't know how to do anything else. Bobby Brown does. Man, Bobby looks tired on stage.
He's exhausted.
He looks completely exhausted. Like, when I see him doing the steps, like, the other ones are energetic, but they're struggling. But Bobby just walks the hell off the stage and like, man, fuck this shit. Because, like you said, you don't want life to put you in a position where you have to do these things. You know what I'm saying? This is why they say you should make all the correct choices now. Do all that bullshit while you're young and start setting the building blocks up now, because you don't want to be. I'm not shitting on nobody at Walmart and McDonald's, but I mean, who really wants to be that 70-year-old at Walmart and McDonald's? You doing it because you have to, not because you want to.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, all of that is the manipulation. You know what I mean? All of that is where we start to feel sorry for people. And I just can't, man. It fits under those privileges why I don't feel bad for white people. I call it hell because I don't give money to like beggars, especially not white beggars. Like, I'm not giving you no money. Like, it's my principle behind it. It's the same way I feel about celebrities and ex-millionaires. You fumble a bag, bro. Like, you're not out here. You're not out here by design. You're out here by choice. Is you made some bad choices and your life ended down this path. And when you was up, we didn't see from you. But now that you need us, now you all up in our face. Look at all these old heads in these commercials. 70, 80 tires. Still doing. I said, oh, that alimony check hitting hard, ain't it? And you didn't set up nothing else for your life. Bro, you had a whole $1 million in front of you. How did you squander that? How? Only reason is you ain't supposed to have that much money. So either way, I don't feel sorry for you. You know what I mean? So now that black people are advancing more, we thought more black people would be empathetic and understanding. No, you've touched more money than they've ever touched. You've seen opportunities they've never seen. They can't relate to you no more.
Right.
You know what I mean? So what they try to do, become more relatable. What's 50 Cent doing? At one point in time, 50 Cent ain't give a fuck about us. But he needs to become more relatable because you need us. You need the views, don't you? You need us to talk about your show on social media, don't you? You know what I mean? But you're still putting us in situations just like the white people did. It's why I couldn't marry a stripper or an actress. Like, what they got Lala Anthony doing on TV is wild. I couldn't. Shouts to Carmelo, man. I couldn't do it. I couldn't watch you be in different sex scenes and different shows and different movies. Like,
they're not together anymore, are they?
Not no more. But they was when she was acting. They had a TV show together. Remember, he used to be on her show, looking uninterested, just looking like, man, I do not, because it's all fake. Because a lot of us, especially when we came from a certain era, we don't really live on the internet. We post on the internet, but I don't live on the internet. This is not my life. You know what I mean? So now that reality is becoming everybody's life and all that shit's fake, you better not call wrestling fake. I'm coming for love and hip hop. I'm coming for everything you love. You better not call my shit fake.
Yeah, and she's still a representation, so I totally get it, man.
And I love that we're getting these opportunities, but what are the opportunities? If we just trying to be on, that's not a goal for all of us. That's not getting us nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, what are the opportunities? That was the difference between the Malcolm X's. It wasn't just that he gave the speech. You could go look up what he was doing in the neighborhood. A black man gets falsely arrested, they taking the whole gang to the police station and sitting until we get answers or get them some medical treatment. They was actually in the field. Nowadays, you'll have a celebrity tweet, oh, help Haiti. But it's like, what are you actually doing on the streets? Because we're keeping your money flowing. We're keeping your family fed and the braces on every tooth, and you living in this gated community while we still got to live in the trenches.
And this is what is so sad, is that it's so sad that when a leader comes along that can give you pure, unadulterated truth without manipulation, they end up getting cut off quick. And I tell you that Nipsey Hussle was the truth teller of our time, man.
Ooh,
I've seen this man cower in any arena that he was placed into. I mean, he really doesn't give enough credit for being a leader, such as a Malcolm or a Martin. He just was in a different form. He came in a different form, and we can still learn a lot from his teachings. But that's so funny is that when you do get truth sayers like that who don't bend the truth and who live in their perfect truth, they get cut down very, very early, man. So, it's just funny that I understand we do need the Jessies and the Al Sharptons and the whoever's of the world to at least soothe both.
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, they're watered down. They're watered down while the true players are cut down. You know what I'm saying? But it's just a sad reality we live. But I'm going to still try to continue to survive because one who actually toes the line of activism behind his billionaire status is Jay-Z. I mean, people don't realize a lot of the activist work that he does do that he doesn't beat himself on the chest about. But he is really in the fight for freedom for a lot of people. But I like the way that he's doing it. He doesn't have to be on a bullhorn to try to wake up the people. He just continues to get richer and put his money towards the activism that he exercises.
And that's what all of us can stand to do. You know, it's not make a billion. It's not be an activist. It's walking your truth. You know what I mean? Jay-Z said something very important. I always share in reels, but he said, I'm not going to let anyone speed up my process. Like, I'm moving on my own time, take it or leave it. And that's how I live my life too. You know what I mean? Like, I could be here today, going tomorrow. Like, take it or leave it, what I got for you. And try to appreciate it, because this may be the last thing you ever get from me. You know what I mean? But it's not the last time this is ever going to happen. There's so many more people being infected. You know what I mean? Like what Pac said, like, I may not be the one to change the world, but I guarantee I'm going to spark the brain that changed the world. Yeah. And having that type of confidence that there's going to be more views, you know what I mean? That's great. That's humility. That's living a godly life. That's what I consider spirituality. That's why Pac was so big in the spiritual community, you know, him and his aunt and his mother, because they lived it. And that's what I aspire to do. It's not sell a million records. You know what I mean? It's not the tattoos. It's not the lifestyle. I aspire to affect people the way he did, the way Nipsey did, the way Malcolm did, the way even Martin did. You know, I got hella love for Martin Luther King. You know, a lot of people think I don't like him for some reason. I'm just critical of these people because that's what they would have wanted. They wanted to be their best, and iron sharpens iron. We got to challenge each other. So I love all my brothers. Even when you think I'm being critical or upset with you, it's all love, man.
And before we go, I do want to shout out Afeni Shakur because she did not want the story to be told without her flaws. And shout out to her sister, who was a big part of this documentary that's on Hulu, that even said that. She said, I'm glad that we're able to talk about this now, because now we can talk about the heroic Afeni, and we can talk about the crackhead Afeni. We can talk about the one who failed. And it really goes down and breaks down why heroes and people like us, we have our dark moments. We are empaths. We do carry that. We carry that love for our people. So when you see us in dark places, it's not that we're manic depressive. It's not that we carry this weight that we want to see our people do better. And we don't always go about it the right way. Sometimes we have to manipulate the game. Sometimes we have to do things necessarily outside of our truth to get the message across. A lot of times you thought that me and him was advocates for maybe brutalizing women or something like that. Just putting a certain subject out there. I'm like, how could they say that? But we were trying to get your attention so that therefore, okay, we can bring this thing and round it out. So sometimes you just got to hear your speakers out. Sometimes you have to hear your leaders out to really understand the message that they're trying to convey. We are out of time. I want Tim to not sell his books, but tell them about your books real quick.
Yeah, you can find all my books on Amazon. I have one book on Kindle Vella right now. I'll have two more out June 26th. And then I'm going to take me a nice little hiatus, you know what I mean, from books. But search Goodlife Russ on Google, Amazon, any type of social media. You'll find me, or reach out to me directly if you want to buy some books.
Absolutely, man. I'm going to save the last words for Tim. I'll be at Double Take tonight, so that is I don't even want to sell that. This was a good conversation.
It was
a great conversation. It was much needed. The conversations continue to get better. I just want to stay in the moment right now because this was a conversation. I didn't even know that we were going to unpack. You know what I'm saying? But give them the last words, Tim, so we can get out.
The last words is I'm gonna just keep leaving y'all with grace. You got to give yourself grace and realize we're all going through something. You know what I mean? And don't let people attack what you believe. I encourage people to go out and see that Whitney Houston movie. That's one of my favorite. That's my auntie. It hurts my heart when I see people just want to focus on the crack. Her life was so much more than her vices and what she did in her free time. So give people grace, man. You never know who's loving when you talking shit about when you running your mouth. You know what I mean? So we got to start coming together and speaking positive about people's lives and start trying to nitpick the negative. I don't like that.
Absolutely, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Adrian, Drea, Deshaun, who else, man? A lot of people was on the check-in today. Jessica, Trinae, everybody. Thank you guys so much. We'll be back next week to do it all over again. Me and Tim going to the green room. Thanks for all the likes. And please share this. If you haven't shared this on your page, we just need more views to get our views up. So please share this on your page as well. Tune in to Pretty and Petty on Monday. Each and every single Wednesday, of course, is the Grassroots, man. We out of here. Peace.
All right, y'all.